From 2012 to 2015, McGill was running a recruitment agency in illegal workers. McGill scammed over 120 English teachers into working illegally in Saudi Arabia on the wrong type of visa. McGill was paid a commission for every illegal worker they supplied to their partner in Saudi Arabia called the Royal Commission. This breach of contract case first went before the Court of Quebec in 2015 for about $48,000. This included punitive damages because McGill deceived the teachers into working illegally on the false expectation of providing them a work permit. These are serious allegations. The trial evidence showed that working illegally in Saudi Arabia can result in being fined, deported, blacklisted, and even imprisoned. Montreal's top employer, sending English teachers to Saudi Arabia to work illegally, had the makings of a scandal, but instead this case became just another Quebec whitewash. This is a copy of McGill's contract with the teachers. It states the teachers will be provided with the necessary visa. At trial, the plaintiff said that he wasn't provided the necessary visa to work. McGill director Firas Al-Havid said that McGill did provide the necessary visa to work. So who's telling the truth? Well, Exhibit P2 is a copy of the visa type provided by McGill to over 120 McGill teachers. What do you think? Did this visa permit McGill's teachers to work? Clearly it didn't, because the visa is annotated not permitted to work. You may be surprised to hear McGill were providing illegal workers for profit. Given McGill's prestige, even Trudeau class of '94 was made by McGill. But being elitist and being ethical are two different things. Just look at Trudeau. McGill's image of prestige is one thing, but facts are another. McGill never provided a single piece of documentary evidence at trial to show that the visa annotated not permitted to work actually did permit their teachers to work. McGill did not provide any evidence because there was no evidence. In contrast, the judgment lists the evidence the plaintiff provided from government sources, which included Exhibit 9, which states, foreign citizens who enter Saudi Arabia to work will need an Iqama. An Iqama is essentially a work permit. A work permit permits foreigners to work. The visit visa provided by McGill is not a work permit and does not permit foreigners to work. That's why the visa is annotated not permitted to work. It's not complicated. The McGill defendant Firas Al-Havid, who falsely testified it was the right visa, is not believable because he set up the scam. He was unlikely to admit to his own fraud with his well-paid job at McGill hanging in the balance. Ironically, McGill even promoted him to a McGill director in recognition for gaining the proceeds of his criminal activity. Don't be surprised, McGill also hired this guy, Arthur Porter, the man behind Canada's biggest ever fraud. But that's another story. The presiding judge was the Honourable Daniel Dortelus of the Court of Quebec. His judgment ruled that the visa annotated not permitted to work actually did permit the McGill teachers to work. Specifically, the judgment states, the evidence shows on a balance of probabilities that the visa issued to Mr. Fleming was in fact the appropriate visa. The court does not detect any failure to comply with its obligations on McGill's part with regards to the visa. That is nonsense. The evidence is the visa, which is annotated not permitted to work. And yet Judge Dortelus has ruled that the visa did permit the McGill teachers to work. It's inconceivable that the evidence in this case supported McGill contrary to what Judge Dortelus has written in his judgment. In fact, the judgment does not even specify what evidence Judge Dortelus is referring to that would make sense of his decision. Judge Dortelus did not specify the evidence because there was no evidence. This is a fake judgment. The judgment says one thing, the facts say something else to any fair-minded person. From the Court of Quebec to the Supreme Court of Canada, McGill University has won every lawsuit made against them. I'm not surprised. Using data obtained from the Canadian Legal Information Institute, I've compiled an updated list of lawsuits made against McGill. You can check it out at fakejustice.ca. The results are alarming. McGill has a total record of 42 wins against no losses. This highly unlikely winning to loss ratio begs the question, why does McGill keep winning? Quebec judges are rigging judgments in favour of McGill to protect McGill's image of prestige. In cases involving a conflict of interest like McGill or SNC, the Quebec justice system is a well-organised scam. You had the appearance of justice, but it's only pretense being played out by puppet judges, and it's undermining the quality of the justice system.